Her protective vest trapped sweat against her torso, even with the help of the light moisture-wicking shirt she wore underneath it. The heat and discomfort could be blamed for her irritability. Or maybe she needed a good cup of coffee to start her morning, instead of the bitter muck they'd passed out earlier before deploying search teams for this mission. There were 2 other search teams besides her and King on a mission to find where victims of human trafficking were being housed and forced to work on this taro farm against their will. Once the search teams had the workers safely located and protected, they could take down the farm itself. At the same time, Arin had made a promise to look for a specific boy named Hui. There was a lot to accomplish, and the longer she took here, the more worried she was about achieving the best possible outcome. From her new position on the man's other side, she studied his face and decided no amount of air conditioning or coffee was going to improve her mood. She'd met him before, a little over 6 months ago. She didn't know his name, but she'd been curious about him ever since they'd faced off back on the island of Oahu. It had been a different mission, different plantation, but the same human trafficking ring behind it all. He and his team had been privately contracted security on the perimeter, not aware of exactly what they were providing security for. He and she had come to an understanding of sorts and gone their separate ways. His eyes, closed now, were burned into her memory. They'd been so dark a brown, they were almost black, and the intensity in his gaze had left her breathless. He'd also been aiming a gun at her, with purpose. She'd had her rifle pointed at him in kind, so it had been a fair situation, however tense. She extended her left hand cautiously, sliding her fingertips into his dark hair. It was slightly longer on top, cut neatly short on the sides, and soft, almost silky. She pushed aside that tactile observation and continued to explore with her fingertips until she encountered the answer to his current state of unconsciousness. The man had a bump the size of a goose egg on the back of his head. Well then, he probably wasn't going to die, but he needed to be checked for a concussion. It was a nasty bump. She pulled several zip ties from a cargo pocket on her pants. After binding him at the wrists and ankles, she stepped back a prudent distance. Her initial meeting with him had been decidedly confrontational. There may have been a tiny bit of violence involved. They'd both walked away from the encounter, but only by mutual accord. It wasn't clear which one of them would have survived otherwise. He was secured for the time being. As worrisome as it was to have found him out here, she had a promise to keep and a boy to find. She'd get this man medical attention, then move forward from there. It was the right thing to do, and it was best to make it happen as quickly as possible. He was a private contractor like she was, and if he was on contract to protect the farm they were searching, he could pose a serious threat to her current mission. It'd be best to get him away from here, someplace where he could be questioned about his involvement. Even if this man remained unconscious, she had the feeling he was still going to be a serious pain in the ass. It was better to make him someone else's problem. She looked at King. Her partner had been watching her all this time, regarding her with a warm, alert gaze. He, more than any other living being in this world, was attuned to her. She retrieved the tennis ball and smiled. No need to call his name to get his attention. Bavakin. King would watch there captive while she made her report. Next up, conversation with another actual human being. It was only a couple of hours past sunrise, and that horrible cup of coffee. It was still too damned early in the morning for talking to people. She cleared her throat and pulled out the satellite phone, enunciating clearly without raising her volume above a quiet conversational level. "Bravo, this is Charlie." "Cappy." On the other end of the line, Raoul Sa's voice sounded relaxed, but years of working with him let her pick out the hint of worry. "Received your text. Medical team en route to your position. Is one of the targets injured?" Of the people she worked with on a regular basis, Raoul was one of the few she could be reasonably nice to before noon.